Hello, all sentient beings, and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk all news, comics, and media related to thee. This week on Alt Mode, we review King Grimlock number 2 from IDW Publishing. We talk about the shakeups at Paramount, and then we talk about Toys R Us. Today is Friday, September 17th, 2021, and this is episode 251 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's taking on all comers, no matter who they are or what they're made of, especially wooden creatures. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
The amazing Epic.
Hello.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, how are you? Let's talk Transformers.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well.
All right, as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the show. We really appreciate it. And, of course, one of the perks of being a Donatreon is that you get access to the early uncut versions of the Empire of Rust Transformers Live Play RPG podcast that is run by our awesome editor and producer, Mike. And this week we are doing episode 59. So this is continuing with season 2 of Empire of Rust. And episode 59 will not be out until the end of September in the main feed. But if you are a Donatreon, you're getting it now on Monday, September 20th. And episode 59 is Keeping Pace with the Pythagoreans. So I believe this is going to focus on Carapace and Pythagoras or Magnum, the characters, two of the characters or three of the characters in the Empire of Rust main party team, the adventurers. So take a listen, enjoy your early access. If you'd like to become a Donatreon, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And that's where you can sign up either on Patreon or PayPal. All right, well, let's jump right in with our comic review for this week.
All right, we are talking about King Grimlock number 2 this week. This is written by Steve Orlando. Art is by Augustin Padilla. Colors by Jeremy Caldwell. Letters by Jake M. Wood. Editor is David Mariette. Assistant editor is Riley Farmer. And supervising editor is Tom Waltz. And there are 3 covers this week. Cover A has Grimlock crawling out of a ridgeworm with slimy guts everywhere. Cover B is just a scene of Grimlock, I guess, kind of in the intestines of the ringworm, and it's kind of done in a retro-ish style. Cover A was done by Alex Horley. Cover B is by Ilias Zayas. I am sorry about butchering that. And the retailer incentive has Grimlock in his T-Rex mode and kind of toy-esque T-Rex mode, shooting fire into the sky. This is by Paul Harding. Daryl, let's start with you this week. Which one of these 3 do you like?
It's a good question. The cover A, I immediately dismissed because of the Autobot stamp on the. It's almost front and center. It's yeah. It drove me nuts looking at it, and it's crooked as well, and I couldn't not see that. So
you just can't even.
Right.
Yeah,
it's crooked in relation to where it should be.
Exactly.
On Grimlock.
Yeah. So based on that, I wasn't going to pick cover A, and I didn't even buy cover A because of that either. So I bought cover B from my store, but I kind of like the RI. I think I'm gonna go with cover B. I like the retro style as well. And you see him in robot mode in the cover B. That's what I'm going with.
All right. Epic, how about you?
As Daryl said, a great question. Okay, so cover RI, I actually just completely dismissed because I don't care for that style where it almost looks like a 3D rendering of sorts. I don't know. That doesn't draw me in or whatever. So then cover A, want to like, but I feel like it's overall kind of muted in a way. Like it's neat, but then cover B really gets me because I really like the pop art style that draws me in. And it's weird because while I don't necessarily love the composition of Grimlock and stuff in this, I just love the style way more. It grabs me more. It's the lines draw my eyes to it more than like all the softness of cover A, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So cover B for me for those reasons.
All right. And Charles?
I'm going to take the retailer incentive cover. I like Grimlock in dinosaur mode. I like the kind of embossed, raised Autobot symbol there. Like it's not just, it looks more like a sculpture, like attached to his belly there rather than just a flat decal or whatever.
Tell you what, it ain't no stamp.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I like seeing Grimlock in dinosaur mode there, and it was unique out of the 3 covers that he's there in 80s dinosaur mode. So I think these days that this T-Rex got this vision of what a T-Rex is a little bit outdated. I guess probably if we had Mikey on, he'd tell us that this is not an anatomically correct T-Rex, but
and we'd be like, Mikey, it's a robot T-Rex.
But he is a paleontologist, so he would know.
Is he a robot paleontologist? I don't think so.
I mean, he's probably the closest thing we have. A paleontologist who's also a Transformers fan.
Yeah.
Jeremy, how did we know that Charles would pick the one that looked like a statue?
We know that's his first love is statues of Transformers.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
No comment. Well, that's my pick.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think my pick is also cover B this week. I do like cover A. I think cover A reminds me of like the cover of like a pulp novel. If you are looking for like one of those classic like 1950s pulp covers, that's kind of what it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm. I can definitely see that.
But I do prefer, I think, cover B just for the comic, like the old school comic look. And like Epic said, the pop art, it draws me a little bit more to it. But I did buy cover A just because that's what's in my pull list is the cover A every week. But if I were to just pick it off the shelf, it would be cover B. All right, well, let's get into the summary here. This issue's title is Grimlock the Defender. In the forests of Minonia, Grimlock is spotted by some of Soltron's wooded Cyclops. When he transforms, they're shocked, as only the Golden One can do that. And Grimlock takes advantage of this and burns them with his flame breath. At the same time, some vines have grabbed him and they drag him down into a pit. Grimlock is able to break free of some of these vines by transforming, but the teeth on the pit walls are strong enough to hurt him. He starts breaking off some of the teeth that he can when he hears the girl Arco from above telling him to hold still. She jumps down and slashes the vines with her sword as she lands on him, while he complains that he had the situation in hand. Arco tells Grimlock that they're in the intestinal cave of a ridgeworm, but if he wants to lead, go ahead. Grimlock sees the logic in letting her lead, especially after she tells him that the way out of a ridgeworm is never the same way that you entered. As they battle gutworms and finally free themselves of the monster, Grimlock asks who the Soltron is that the Cyclops mentioned. She tells him that Soltron is the god of the Golden One, whose face is that of the Autobot logo on Grimlock. Grimlock says that the only god he worships is the Necrobot, and all of the Dinobots hope that they will cause the Necrobot to run out of storage by the list of their vanquished enemies. Arco yells at Grimlock, saying that he would have died in that worm if she didn't help, and Grimlock says that the Necrobot would probably have been proud of that death. Regardless, Arco says that he needs her knowledge of the Savage Land, and he won't last a day without her. Grimlock says talk like that is usually from people that don't last very long themselves, and draws his flaming sword. Arco continues to goad Grimlock on and tries to attack him, but the Dinobot just turns and walks away. He sees that she's angry and she's smart, but she's also weak. It's too easy to crush her. Arco then asks him to teach her strength so she can kill the Golden One, and she'll tell him what he needs to know about Minonia. Grimlock accepts this, and they lead on through the forest. Shortly after they leave the forest, the pair run across a fishing village that's burning. Arco wants to let them die if they aren't able to defend themselves, calling back to Grimlock's own words when he turned down her father's request. Grimlock says that he also said that he doesn't crush the weak. However, the raiders tearing down the village, they're worth the fight, and the two destroy the raiders. The one Cyclops that got away returns to the Golden One, saying that their trap was ready, but they had underestimated Grimlock's power. The Golden One says that he doesn't even have to consult with Soltron to tell that he's not pleased, and he blasts the Cyclops to dust. Despite this defeat, the Golden One is still sure of his belief that Grimlock only fights for himself, and he won't be the savior of Minonia. In the village, with the wooden creatures defeated, Grimlock is concerned as he picks up the head of one of them. It's similar to him, but different. Arco explains that the Red Wizard is a necromancer, and these creatures don't live themselves. Grimlock is disgusted at the thought of these creatures being living but without a spark or the ability to think. He decides it's time to pay this Red Wizard a visit. As the Golden One watches from afar, Arco and Grimlock argue over the fact that he won't fight for her people, but he will fight for himself. Arco storms away, thinking that Grimlock is actually as weak as everyone else. That is the end of issue 2. This was kind of a dense book in terms of, I don't know, there was like a few action bits, but it was just really, really dense in terms of wordiness and lots of stuff it was trying to convey. But I did enjoy the book. I thought it was good. The art was really good. I'm really enjoying Agustin Padilla's work. Some of the monsters were just really like top notch, but the story itself, I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's just a little slow, but this is a limited series and we're almost halfway there now. But I think there was enough action here to kind of keep the story going, and you have plenty of just like red shirts that can just die without being, they're just nameless monsters. I'm looking forward to the next issue. This is something completely different, a creative team that has never worked on Transformers. So it's nice seeing this take from people we haven't seen before. So, Daryl, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on the book?
Well, I actually enjoyed it. I was really enjoying the action sequences, probably because of their brutality. Grimlock, is just, he's big and he doesn't give shits about, who he's fighting. And, like you said, these are red shirts and they're getting destroyed, and they're, I really do enjoy the action and the way it's gone down. And you may not think it, but the sequence where he's being, kind of eaten by this plant is, it's still an action sequence, right? So it's still him fighting out of that. I would, the part that does start to lose me is all of the, the stuff about the home world and, where he is and like the history and who, who brought him here and what all that kind of, that I kind of get lost in the weeds on that one. But that's the kind of,
you have a nice like single full page image and like 9 text bubbles on there.
Yeah. There is a lot of a lot like an info dump going on, and that's, you expect something like that in these short limited series, especially ones that really aren't connected to anything else. But I also really wanted to comment on the art. The Autobot stamp is something that it just bothers me, and I really wish they change it. It's not getting changed. I'm going to move on. But Agustin Padilla's art,
I was leaving that completely up to you.
Yeah, it's something that it does bother me, and once you see it, you kind of can't unsee it. And that's just the problem with stuff like that. It's been years. I can't unsee this stuff. But Augustin Padilla's art, like you said, it's really phenomenal. It's a different style, you know, there is some kind of roughness about it, especially when he's drawing the wood creatures. But what I'm really enjoying is his sense of scale. You know, he's drawing Grimlock just massive. And, you know, when it's Arcos, right? That's the name of the girl?
Arco.
So he's drawing Arco, and sometimes some of the camera angles he's using is kind of an upward shot, you know, from Arco to Grimlock in the background, right? And just giving Grimlock just immense presence on the page. And I'm really enjoying that. You know, we know these, you know, Cybertronians are going to be so much bigger, but he's filling the page with Grimlock shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, okay, there's 9 speech bubbles on the page. Yeah, okay, I get that. But if you can look past that, and you can look past the stupid Autobot stamp, you see this fantastic piece of artwork that just fills the entire page. It's beautiful. It really is. And I'm really in awe of the artwork that's going on here. You know, the humans are being drawn, whatever they are, you know, they're the humanoid characters are being drawn exceedingly well as well. And I'm in for this book. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Awesome. Cool. Epic, what are your thoughts on the book?
Well, I actually did not enjoy this book. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not a seasoned comic-ear, okay, but first off, plot-wise, I just felt it dragged its feet and did nothing in a whole book. Like, I wanted to get somewhere, I wanted to do it, but instead, like, I know it did a little bit, but it's not what I wanted. I felt like they just picked him being swallowed by a thing and having conversations and just kind of, you know, it's just, I wanted more. I wanted to move on with bigger fights and stuff like that. The artwork, I do like the artwork in some of the things. Other moments, a lot of the action scenes, I actually felt like, and this is where I don't know if, like, since I haven't really been able to get too much into comics, I just felt like I couldn't get a sense of what was going on. It just felt like craziness was ensuing. I get that Grimlock was fighting all this stuff, but it's like I didn't necessarily get that we're going down into this tunnel and all this stuff. By reading, I knew it was happening, but like visually, I just felt like it was chaos on the page, and I couldn't appreciate what was actually happening just by looking at the graphics, which is like what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to look at it and also see the story, but I felt like it felt super sloppy in those action scenes and stuff. Even when they went to the city and fought, I'm like, I don't have a sense of what's really going on here. And it just kind of takes me out of it. That like killed it for me, and I was really bummed. But there are these like non-action scenes where we're like standing and stuff, where I do like how Grimlock's drawn. I like the artwork and stuff, but then, like I said, in those moments, I just felt like I don't care for this artwork. I don't know if it's the artwork style, to me just comes off as too messy for those fight scenes or something. But anyways, that could just be me. I was a little bummed in this story, and maybe it's because I'm just not much for the slow going data dump side of things. I want to get to the main point of why we're here and stuff, but I just felt like we're just carrying on the story too much with him and this girl. I want him to get on. So that's my mini rant about this one. So
yeah, I think sometimes it's important to get the reaction from someone that's not as invested in comics. We kind of get lost into our own points of view a lot of the time. Charles, what were your thoughts?
So I guess I'm on the I'm in the middle. So it wasn't super awesome for me, but I also didn't hate it. So it was I thought it was a fine issue. The art is really good, and Augustin Padilla, he has done work on Transformers before, so with the Beast Hunters and Transformers Prime Beast Hunters art and everything. So I think he knows his way around Grimlock pretty well. And then all the other characters, like the humanoid and other alien characters, he's drawing the Cyclops and everything. I think that the art is really the saving grace of this book. I think it's really dynamic and really well done. I kind of can't figure out where the story is going here with Arco and Grimlock. I thought it was going to be like them kind of teaming up, but now it's like, oh, well, we tried it, but it's not working out. So, yeah.
Yeah, like what was even the point? If you're just going to have her go away at the end, it's like, why do we waste a book on this then?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Grimlock's personality is it's been weird. I mean, I understand he respects strength and everything, but here it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm in, like, I identify with Arco here. Like, yeah, we asked for your help and you won't give it, and now you're gonna go beat up on this other guy just because he's like creating abominations or whatever, and that offends you. And in doing that, you're actually playing into the hands of the Golden One because you're defeating his enemies for him. So,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, I mean, I did like the little bit of like the little bit about Grimlock worshiping the Necrobot. I thought that was a really obscure reference to just throw in there, which I thought was interesting. Like Grimlock being a warrior, he reveres the Necrobot because the Necrobot collects the dead off the battlefield. That was just an interesting.
Well, he chronicles the names.
Oh, okay, that's true. Yeah,
and I think it was funny that he was like the Dinobots strive to make him run out of data storage by having too many names to record.
Yeah, it was interesting. Just, yeah, I mean, given that like the Necrobot was something that was introduced in More Than Meets the Eye, that comic series from a few years ago, and hasn't really been like it wasn't really explored anywhere else. So it was interesting to just see it pop up here and have the mythology tweaked just a little bit to suit Grimlock's purposes here. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see where the series is going, but it's not amazing for me so far.
All right, well, looking forward to the next issue, regardless, and we will move on to what's next.
All right, so yeah, next will be media news.
All right, in media news this week, we've got a little bit of business stuff to talk about. I brought over a topic here that probably would have been in the toy show, but I wanted it here, so I made the change. This news kind of dropped at the end of August, and we didn't talk about it, and we should have, and now we're going to do it. Toys R Us apparently is coming back to stores in the U.S. This is not. This is going to be similar to what they tried before. They're not going to do, they're not going to do their standalone stores yet, but they are going to open up little kiosks or little areas, little store toy areas inside 400 Macy's locations across the U.S., which is pretty cool. Macy's apparently is pretty popular in the U.S. You can look for this to start happening in 2022. Macy's is not a store here in Canada, but we still have Toys R Us, so we're okay. And
you at least get the Macy's parade.
No, might be. We can watch it on TV, maybe, but we'd have
That's
to.
what I meant.
No, we have other parades. So I don't think I've ever watched the Macy's Day Parade. Anyway, yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's fun. That'll be interesting. Does everyone here, or is there a Macy's nearby to all of you?
Yes, there's a Macy's in the mall near my house.
Okay. Cool.
I don't think so for me. But so it sounds like this is just going to be like, like what? Like a Sephora's and a JCPenney, just a tiny little
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
thing, and That bums me out because I really wanted a full-fledged Toys R Us. But hey, little baby steps. Maybe we'll get there one day again.
That's right.
Yeah.
Baby
you can
steps.
also do it online.
Yep.
They're going to have an online storefront.
Yep. Now, before everyone starts rejoicing that Toys R Us is coming back and that it's going to be everything that you always remembered and, that kind of thing, I want us to recall the final days of Toys R Us in the U.S. There were, what was it? You guys started losing a lot of their partnerships, a lot of their brands that they were selling because they were all kind of getting out because there was no money anywhere. The Toys R Us company was not paying them for the toys that they were being sent. So Toys R Us owns their own brands, right? They have their own kind of Toys R Us branded stuff. I have a feeling you're going to see an awful lot of that at the beginning. So you're not going to see, I don't think you're going to see Transformers in Macy's. I think you're going to see like those Army Men sets and, that kind of stuff. That's like, there's full 2 or 3 aisles of those in the full-fledged stores here in Canada. Hey, like we said, it's baby steps. The other topic that I wanted to bring up, which is kind of interesting, and this happened within a week of the other Toys R Us announcement, was that Toys R Us Canada has been sold. Oh
man, are you going to experience the suffering of losing Toys R Us's?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That was the original idea. That was what I had thought when this all kind of broke. But what's happening is that they are being sold to a person, an individual who owns a company here in Canada called Sunrise Records. And Sunrise Records was, it was a staple back in the 90s where you would go to get all your music needs. Well, the stores still exist, but they are now... They've also diversified, which you've had to do basically to stay alive. They still sell a lot of music. They also sell an awful lot of vinyl, but they also sell pops, and they sell some action figures, and they sell a lot of trinkets and T-shirts and all that other kind of mumbo jumbo. But it works for them. They stay afloat. So that is something that I didn't think they had enough money to do this. I guess they're doing quite well. The person or group that owns this record store is the one purchasing Toys R Us Canada. So that'll be very interesting to see. I fully expect some kind of integration between the two. Maybe some music will show up in the larger Toys R Us stores, and some toys in the smaller mall Sunrise Records locations. But this all kind of happened within a week of the other announcement, the Macy's one for the U.S. locations. Does this kind of give you guys any kind of hope with the Macy's announcement? How does it make you feel as Americans about getting Toys R Us back?
I'm not that I'm excited at the idea of it coming back, but initially I just feel like I just hope it's better than like the tiny toy section in Kohl's. I
forgot that was the first thing they tried.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I want the Canadian guy to buy the US version. Seems like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. No kidding.
Charles, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also like, call me when there's real Toys R Us stores back. The kiosk inside the Macy's, I don't imagine this is going to be a place to find a lot of good Transformers selection or whatever. I mean, I think you're still going to have to go through all the other retailers that have a much bigger reach at this point. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like Toys R Us is not going to be back, at least in the US. It's not going to be back in the form that we remember it. I don't know. I feel like it's too late for toys, like, for us to get a real retail toy store. I mean, I wonder. I mean, I don't even think the kids play with toys that much anymore. I think kids are much more into like video games and other stuff. That toys are just not as big as they used to be, and so maybe it doesn't justify a dedicated toy store big box store like this. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried to have that discussion a couple times, and what the future of toys, and for children is going to be, and what's going to look like. But you might be right. Kids get to a certain age, and it's getting younger and younger, where toys they're just not cutting it anymore. If it doesn't have a screen, they don't care.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about for the first bit here. If you have an opinion, if our valued listener has an opinion on Toys R Us coming back, whether or not you're in the U.S. or if you have an opinion on the sale of it in Canada here to Sunrise Records CEO. So, let us know. Let us tell us what you think. I'm curious to hear what you think about that. Moving on to streaming and TV news, Robots in Disguise, the 2001 show, turns 20 this past week. So, you enjoy feeling old? The cartoon you used to watch as a kid is 20 years old. Another thing to make you feel old.
And the one that you can't go back and watch easily because the rights are so screwed up.
Oh, I have it all.
Well, yeah, easily.
It's easy for Daryl to watch.
You make do with what you have access to. Moving on to movie news, Transformers Rise of the Beasts filming and crew has arrived in Cusco. We broke this story a week ago. Apparently, actors Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback have been spotted in Cusco. This is the city in which artist extraordinaire Andrew Griffith lives, and he was telling us about the filming crew and the location and where they're going to be filming and such. So that's pretty cool. So he lives in the city, and we're hopeful that he will be able to get in on some of that sweet extra action.
Yeah, I think he put on Twitter that he's actually going to be in the States during some of these filming dates. Yeah,
so maybe, who knows? They should know. They should know who they have living around the corner. That's we should tell them. Similarly, in Rise of the Beasts news, Optimus Prime has been seen rolling around Brooklyn. So that's cool. Danilo is going to be publishing Transformers Rise of the Beast calendars and greeting cards. So that's kind of cool. We kind of experienced this every other movie gets a calendar. I don't know if we've ever seen the greeting cards before. Maybe it's like those Transformers movie based elementary school Valentines that they kind of make, that kind of junk.
I think I have seen some greeting cards kids at your birthday.
The birthdays.
Here's Optimus Prime who wants to cut off your face.
Right. Yes. I wish that they would make it's only happened twice, but the companies have put out, whoever is responsible for making the calendars have made G1 based calendars, and I have bought them and I keep them because most people don't realize every 6 years the calendar works again. So you can use it again every 6 years. So
you just get 6 of them in your set.
Yeah, you just get 6 in a row and you're good for life.
I put a picture here of one of the greeting cards. So Optimus Prime putting his fist at the person that opens the card.
Boom.
Hope you enjoy your birthday. It's your last.
And lastly, Paramount Pictures CEO Jim Giannopoulos is stepping down.
Giannopoulos.
Fool, you can't read that?
Giannopoulos. And Paramount Pictures is looking to drop big budget movies. Something's going on here. Something big. Let's see. Does anyone know what's going on here? Jeremy, this sounds like a business topic. Do you did you go to business school on this topic?
I did technically go to business school, yes.
All right.
I got a computer degree in a business college.
You take this and you let us know what Jim Giannopoulos did.
Jim Giannopoulos is stepping down. He actually came to Paramount in 2017 and actually helped get them kind of on some good footing after they had issues with The Last Night not doing well. China made some new rules on where their companies could invest. And like Bumblebee was one of the movies that this guy kind of steered, and Quiet Place, which did well. But I think this is all as a result of the pandemic, and Paramount is kind of, they acquired, what was it? They acquired, it wasn't CBS. It was, or was it CBS? I can't remember. Whoever had the other half of the Star Trek franchise, they've acquired them, and they're kind of still figuring out exactly who they're going to be. They rebranded CBS All Access to Paramount Plus. And over the last year, they've sold a lot of their movies that would have been theatrical movies to streaming companies like Amazon and Netflix and stuff. Like they have the Jack Ryan series they made and they sold to Amazon. Also the Without Remorse movie with Michael B. Jordan, that went straight to Amazon. I think they're seeing a lot of success there financially, and that's kind of where they're targeting. You know, they have a number of Star Wars or Star Trek shows in production, and that's going on to their own service. So I think they're wanting to just go that route. And one of the things that people are speculating is that after this current movie that's in production, people are speculating that they're going to lose the Transformers and all the Hasbro licenses. I haven't seen anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me to see the movies go to another company, Universal perhaps. Seem to have a good relationship with Universal. And then the TV stuff still stay with Paramount. Viacom is the other company I was trying to remember. And they own like Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, all of these established brands. I can see them keeping a lot of the TV stuff there for Transformers and other Hasbro content. That's how I understand this.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I guess we'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, that's interesting. Would we lose what is it? D. Bonaventura?
I doubt it.
Damn it.
From my understanding on how movie rights go, I think he bought the rights. Similar to how like Sony has to basically always have a Spider-Man movie in production, or the rights will revert. I think it's something similar to that, where the movies can't be made without him, and he has to probably do one every so often. But yeah, I think we're stuck with him unless something drastic happens. Maybe Hasbro can back up one of their trucks of money to him. And
all right, well, we'll keep an eye on this as well, because that would have some big impact on the future of the Transformers films. But for now, that's the end of the media news segment. Charles, send it back.
All right, well, we will finish up the show with convention news.
All right, a couple TFCon Baltimore updates here. The aforementioned Andrew Griffith is scheduled to attend TFCon Baltimore. He's a comic artist on many things. The Robots in the Sky series from 2012 was one of the big ones. He also did work on Unicron, All Hell Megatron, numbers of stuff. He's a great artist. He's planning on being there. And then also Rick Alvarez, who was the creative manager at Hasbro for a number of years. He's been out on his own doing other stuff as well. Like, what was the product that they were trying to do that the Kickstarter didn't go well?
Play With This Too?
Yeah, Play With This Too. He was involved in that. I mean, we've had him on the show before. So he's always great to talk to as well. So both of these guys are going to be at TFCon Baltimore, October 22nd through 24, assuming it happens. Still crossing our fingers with that. You never know these days. But that is all we got for convention news.
All right, and that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. As always, at the end of the show, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons, because they are awesome for continuing to contribute and support the show at our highest level. So thank you again to John 4X Levengood, Dinobot Maximize, and Demon Tech 82. You guys are awesome. You can also help us out by buying some merchandise at our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. Got lots of cool masks, shirts, and if you buy anything from TeePublic through that link, that helps out the show. So you don't even have to buy a transmission shirt or a transmissions design item. Anything from TeePublic that you would want to get, just use our link to get it, and that helps us. All right, Epic, thanks again for coming on and joining us this week. So where can people find your stuff online?
Yeah, they can head on over to epicsuicide.com. That's EPYKsuicide.com, and there they'll find all my links.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.
And if you'd like to become a Donatron, if you're not already, just go to just go to, I'm going to start that all over.
Somebody put their icon right in the middle of the name I'm trying to pronounce.
Sorry.
No, Epic. Epic did. Epic!
Move your cursor.
No.